In this video, we're going to take a look at how we solve subtraction equations. This will be very similar to what we saw with solving addition equations, where when we dealt with x plus 3 is equal to 8, I could form sort of a divide at where the equal sign was, and then to get x by itself, I would subtract 3, and whatever I did to one side, I would have to do to the other. And then I can see that 3 minus 3 is going to equal 0, so that crosses off, and I'm left with x equals 8 minus 3, which is 5. And then I could check, does 5 plus 3 equal 8? 5 plus 3 is 8, so 8 equals 8, so that checks. When we look at solving subtraction equations, if I give you pretty much the same problem, just make it x minus 3, and I want to say that that equals 8, for example. I'm going to think of it the same way, in the sense that I'm going to kind of form the divide at the equal sign, and then since I have x minus 3, I want us to say, well, how do I get back to 0? Okay, so if I'm subtracting 3, to bring it back up to x, I'm going to actually add 3. Okay, so here I have in a sense 3 and a minus 3. So 3 minus 3 is 0. Those cancel out, leaving me with x by itself, and 8 plus 3 is equal to 11. And if I want to check this, which is always a good idea to do, if I have 11 minus 3 is equal to 8, so 8 equals 8, so this checks. Okay, so what you'll notice is that if I add 3, I need to subtract 3. Here if I subtract 3, I need to add 3, because adding and subtracting in a sense undo each other. So whatever I'm adding or subtracting, then I would need to do the opposite. So if I'm adding, I'm going to look to subtract. If I'm subtracting first, then I look to add, and it kind of brings it back up to a level. Okay, think about something like if I say, okay, well, here's a platform, let's say a step. Okay, in a sense, if I go down 3 steps, in order to get back up to where I started from, I would then need to climb up 3 steps, and then I get back to where I'm started, which is why the addition, subtraction, in a sense, undo each other. Let's look at one more example. Okay, let's say I have 51 is equal to, let's do x minus 23. Okay, once again, I can think about the divide at the equal sign, just to split it into what I need on each side. In order to undo subtracting 23, I'm going to add 23, and whatever I do to one side, I need to do to the other. Now you'll notice that even though the x minus 23 is over on the right-hand side, since I'm trying to get the variable x by itself, that's why I'm going to add 23 here. Because I want the 23's to cancel out, and me to be left with x. 51 plus 23 is going to give me 74. So I can say for my answer, x is equal to 74. So it doesn't matter that this says 74 is equal to x is still equal to 74. And then I can check, what's 74 minus 23? If I subtract, I get 51, so it checks. So 51 is equal to 51. So anyway, hopefully this has been helpful for you and clarifies how to solve subtraction equations.